Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are fit and fine at your home. Dear students, this video is for the students who are studying in 10th standard. Today we shall study history subject, and in history we are going to continue the fifth lesson, that is the mass media and history. Students, in the first two videos we have studied about newspapers. What do you mean by newspapers? And the history of mass media. Some of the newspapers we have studied, for example Bengal Gazette, Darpan, Prabhakar, Dinabandhu, etc. With these newspapers also we have studied magazines and journals. Okay students, and as well as we have studied about electronic and digital journalism. Okay students, as well as we have studied about radio and television also. Okay students, now today this video will be the last video of this chapter, that is fifth lesson mass media and history students. Okay students, so the remaining part we are going to study here. Before moving forward, I would like to request you all, if you are new on my channel, then do not forget to subscribe right now and share it to your friends. Okay students, thank you in advance. Now let's move forward and let's try to understand the further part of this lesson. Now see student here. Dear students, today we shall study the point number 5.3. Why do we need mass media? Yes student, why do we need mass media right now or in the present era or age, we can say students? Yes, you can type your answer in the comment section. Why do we require or need mass media? Okay students, yes, do not forget, type your answer in the comment section. Now see, we need mass media to facilitate free flow of information to all strata of the society. Yes student, so why do we require? So this is the basic need of the mass media, that if you want to give information to all the people in the society, all the stratas of the society, okay, there should be flow of free and comprehensive information. There should be a flow of free and comprehensive information to the all the people. Okay, and for that purpose mass media is very important source of communication. So here we require mass media to facilitate, question can be asked, facilitate free flow of information to all strata of the society. Means each and every person of the society should get the correct information, the genuine information, or we can say the comprehensive information, we can say student. Now editorials, various columns and the supplements are essential parts of the newspapers. Yes, we know that the various columns we see in the newspapers, if you open any paper, then you will see different kinds of columns are there. The columns related to different subjects, for example political column, editorial column, then sports column, then cultural column. Okay, so various kinds of columns we can say, or the places we can say where we get a particular information or news about it. So various columns we can see here. Supplements are essential parts of the newspaper. Sometimes we can see in the newspaper supplements, extra supplement we find sometimes. For example, if we are celebrating Independence Day, then we see a supplement with the newspaper. That supplement gives more information about that special day, that is Independence Day or Republic Day. Okay, so such kind of supplements also provided with the newspaper. For example, again, if we are celebrating the new year, so on the each new year or at the end of year, we see the supplements in the newspapers, and it notifies, it highlights whatever happened in that particular year. So supplements is provided with the main newspaper. Okay, so these are two examples. So here supplements are also provided with the newspaper if there is any special occasion. Don't forget students. Now readers are also ensured a platform to voice their opinion. So this is also very important student, that readers also can put their opinions in the newspaper. So we have separate column for that in the newspaper. So all the newspapers have the separate column or a place for their readers. Whenever the newspaper ask opinion about something, that time the readers of that newspaper can put their own opinions there. Okay, so here readers are also ensured a platform to voice their opinion. They can raise their voice, they can put their own opinion, they can express their own thoughts and opinions in the newspaper also. Now newspapers can help in making the democracy stronger. Earlier we have studied that media or the mass media is the fourth column or the pillar of the democracy, and here media plays very important role in making the democracy stronger and stronger. But the media has to play impartial role or the fair role, we can say. Okay student, have you understood? Very good. Now next, television is an audiovisual medium. We know that television is the audiovisual medium of instruction or communication. Newspaper is a visual that we can read. Okay student, then radio is audio. Okay, it is audio source, we can say. But here television is an audio as well as visual medium, and no other medium can replace audio visual medium, that is television. Okay, this is very important. It was possible for this medium to cross the inherent limitations of the newspaper and radio to show the actual visuals of an event to people. So here this is very important student. So this medium, that is the television, crosses the all inherent limitations of newspaper and the radio, because newspaper is only visual, no audio is there. Okay student, and newspaper we can get, for example, what happened yesterday we get news today, okay, in the newspaper. Okay, but here in television, with the help of television, we can experience, we can get correct information, actual information at the same time with the help of television. So here what does it say? It was possible for this medium to cross the inherent limitations of the newspapers and the radio and show the actual visuals of an event to the people. So with the help of the television we can see the actual event, what is happening actually, so we can understand. For example, on each 26th January in Delhi, on Red Fort, the Prime Minister unflagged the flag. We can see on the 26th January we can see march of the soldiers on the Red Fort. Okay students, that we can see actually on that day. So in this way, current notification, current information we can experience with the help of this medium, that is television. Okay student, have you understood this much? Very good. Now student, let's see the furthermore. So far there is no, just a second, just now I have told you student, there is no alternative for the television. So there is, so far there is no other alternative to the television for watching an event as it actually happened. Just now I have given example. Now let's move further and try to understand the next one, that is point number 5.4, critical understanding of the information received through mass media. Yes student, this is very important. Nowadays whenever we receive any kind of news on television or mass media, we should critically examine it. Okay student, we have to analyze it properly, we have to think about it from the all the angles. Okay, sometimes the news can be forged, sometimes the news can be fraud. Okay, so we have to critically examine it, and then only we should accept the news. Okay student, so here it is very important to understand the critical understanding of the information received through mass media. Nowadays it is very important. Now see, any information received through mass media needs to reviewed critically. Why? Okay, question can be asked, why it is important to analyze or understand the news critically, which we receive through the mass media. The news or information in the media may not always represent exact truth. Yes, why there is a need to understand critically? Because sometimes what happen, whatever the news we are getting in the media, it may not always represent the exact truth. Okay, it can be forged, it can be changed. Okay, sometimes some of the news channels may change in the news. Okay, they can forge the news, we can say. Okay, and they can change the news and they can tell in their own way only. They represent the news in their own only. That can be wrong also. So here it is very important to do the critical analysis or critical understanding of the news received by the mass media. We need to scan it very carefully. So what we have to do? We have to scan. Scan means what? We have to study about it properly, we have to think critically on it, we have to think from all the angles. Okay student, now there is a very famous event of unauthentic information appearing in the print in Germany. So here one of the example is given how the news can be forged. Okay, so example is given here, that is unauthentic information appearing in the print in German. Okay, so one of the news is printed in the Germany. How it is printed, that we are going to learn now. Stern, a German weekly magazine, had purchased a number of so-called handwritten diaries of Adolf Hitler. So here one of the magazine named as Stern in Germany, they received or they purchased, what they purchased, what did they purchase? A number of so-called handwritten letters or diaries of Adolf Hitler. So when they received it, it should be analyzed now, critically analyzed whether the handwritten diaries are there, whether they are authentic or not, or whether the diaries are forged. So it is very important to think before purchasing it. So it sold them to various publication companies. Okay, now these diaries are sold to the other publication companies. The diaries were verified for their authenticity, and see what happened, and the diaries are then checked, critically analyzed, okay, then verified the authenticity of that document. Because in historiography, what is important? Checking the authenticity of any document is very, very important. We should verify the information that we received. So this is very important in the historiography. Let's just a second, student. Now see, student, here. Now see. So it sold them to various publications companies. The diaries were verified for their authenticity, and subsequently the news appeared in the print. However, later those diaries were proved to forged. Then afterward, after doing the verification, it came to know that the diaries were proved to be forged. Okay, so changes were done. Okay, marks were done, forging were done in that diaries. It means these diaries were not authentic, actual, real, truth. Okay, so it becomes apparent from this example that we need to be very careful about the information published by the media. So it is very important. From this example, we can understand that whenever we are receiving any document, any news from the mass media, that should be verified. Okay, that should be checked, that should be critically analyzed. That is very important. Now see, student. See, student, next point is 5.5, that is mass media and professional opportunities. Okay, so what we are going to understand now, newspapers have to fulfill the task of providing fresh news to the readers, to its readers. So what is the function of the newspaper, student? So the one of the very important need of the mass media is that newspaper or the mass media should provide the fresh news to its reader. So this is very important, student. Okay, now it is also necessary to unfold the background. So whenever the newspapers are giving any news, with that current news, its history also should be given, its background also should be unfold, disclosed, so that we can understand the new news. Okay, student, without any background of that news, we could not able to understand. So whenever we watch the television, if new news is there, before telling the new news, the media tells us the background of the news, and then they disclose, then they represent, then they broadcast the current news. Okay, in the same way, in the newspaper also we read any newspaper. So in one column of that newspaper, we can read the background of that present news. Okay, at such times, newspapers have to restore to history. It means that we need to study. The newspaper should restore the history, means they should tell about the historical background of that story or the event or the news. While reporting news in detail, reporters try to compare it with the parallel events. Yes, most of the time we can see this while reporting the news. Okay, the reporters what they do, they compare the news. Okay, they compare the news with the similar kind of news, okay, or parallel kind of news, okay, which happened in the past. Okay, the same kind of news, if it happened earlier, then they compare with that. Okay, student. Okay, student, have understood? The past event may be printed in the separate frame. Just now I have told you the past event or the example, whatever they are giving is illustration they are giving, that is printed in a separate column in the newspaper. Okay, student, have understood this much? Very good. Student, just now we have seen that whenever the reporters are reporting any news, they need to restore the history. They need to tell us the background of that event, background of that news. When the reporter tells us about the background, it means that the reporter is telling about the history. So here, whenever they are reporting, so the reporter should restore the history. Okay, when they can restore the history, if they are writing any editorials are written on a particular topic. Whenever they are reporting or they are printing any report, okay, article, under the editorials, they need to tell us the history. Then any articles, just now I have told you articles. So whenever the reporter writes or prints the articles, they need to tell us the history. Then on this day in history, so what happened on this day in history? Okay, for example, on a special day, most of the time we see that what happened on this particular date. Okay, students, for example, 15th August 2024. So we will hear on this special day what happened on 15th August 1947. So we can compare what happened that time. So we can write, okay, an article on that also. It means that if you are writing on this topic, it means that we are telling about the history. Then reviews, many reviews we tell. Whenever we are reviewing something, we are telling something, we are summarizing something. Before reviewing, we compare this story or the event with the others, with its historical background. News is also, whenever the reporters report or prints, they need to tell the background or the history of that news and columns, various columns. Okay, students, have understood this much? Very good. Now let's move further. So student, when the reporters are writing the news, thinking on all the aspects of that news, it means that the reader gets access to additional information, and he can get better insights about the current news. Okay, so that the readers can get a proper news or a better insight, a better understanding of that news. Now see, newspapers print columns about historical information appearing under headings such as 50 years ago, 100 years ago, etc. Okay, just now I have told you, student, whenever the reporters writing any column, for example, print columns about historical information under the headings that is 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 75 years ago. Just now I have given example of the 15th August 2024. So what happened actually on 15th August 1947? In the same way here, such kind of reporting can be done. Such columns are based on historical documents or written history. We know that all these columns are based on the history. Okay, now see, or historical documents also. But whenever the newspapers are reporting such kind of news, then they should verify the documents. Okay, these columns provide historical information about economic, social, political events in the past and also events of historical significance. Yes, such kind of columns can signify or notify about the social condition in the past, the economical condition in the past, otherwise the other events in the past. It can highlight it. Okay, students, have understood this much? Very good. Now let's try to understand furthermore. Now student, here one of the activities, very interesting activities is given, that is do this. Newspapers also publish crossword puzzles based on history. Try to create similar crossword puzzles. For example, use 4 names to create puzzle. Okay, such kind of puzzle you can create, student. Okay, so in many newspapers we can see in that crosswords. Okay, that crosswords related to the history. So here also you can create a crossword puzzle. Okay, you can ask the names of the forts here. Okay, student, so this activity you have to do. Now next, newspapers occasionally publish supplements to the regular edition. Just now I have given example of the supplement, so more explanation I will not give here because to the regular edition or special issues. For example, World War I commenced in 1914. Year 2014 marked the 100th year of this event. So here what we can see, the supplements can be published here on the completion of 100th year of the World War I. Okay, student, so a special supplement may be published, okay, that gives information about the World War first. Okay, student, have you understood? Very good. Now, in order to be able to publish a newspaper supplement or a special issue to the commemorate the occasion, one needs to review its history. Now here, whenever in order to publish the newspaper supplement or a special issue to commemorate the occasion, one needs to review its history. So here we have to review the history and then only we can publish it about it if you wanted to commemorate it. See now, in 2017, 75 years were completed after the announcement of Quit India movement. So here in 2017 we have completed how many years? 75 years of the Quit India movement. So here, to commemorate this event in the history, we can write articles in the newspaper, we can celebrate it, but we need to review the history. We need to study the history. Now see student here, furthermore, so on such occasions, newspapers highlight the event through various articles, editorials, columns like what happened in history on this day, reviews, etc. So already I have explained it to you. Now the knowledge of history is essential for writing of such type. So this is very important. We should have knowledge about the history. Now student, here one more activity is given that you have to do, that is try to do this. Try to collect information about the role of underground radio centers in the Quit India movement of 1942 with the help of your teachers. So what you have to do here, you have to collect information about the underground radio centers which were working during the Quit India movement in 1942. Okay students, now let's move further. Now see student, next what we are going to study is history is also essential in planning radio programs. Okay, so here history is very important. Whenever we are planning for the radio programs, then we have to study history. A proper thorough knowledge we should have so that we can broadcast our program on radio. For example, Akashvani has preserved recordings of all the speeches delivered each year by the Prime Minister of India on 15th August. We know that on 15th August, okay, so Prime Minister's speech is very important. Prime Minister gives a speech, delivers a speech, and here Akashvani, that is Air Radio, AIR, All India Radio, records it and preserves it. Okay students, so Akashvani invites historians as experts for discussion on various occasions such as anniversaries of birth or death of national leaders, anniversaries of historical events, etc. So we can see here, for the purpose of discussion, the Akashvani calls or invites the historians or the experts to have a discussion on a particular event or birthday, on a particular birthday of a particular leader or a death of a leader, we can say. We can see this on the news channels, also on televisions. Okay students, lectures on contribution of various national leaders need to be supported by historical information. So here such kind of discussion can be done on Akashvani or radio or television, and for that purpose they call the lecturers to give the lectures or delivers lectures on national leaders who had contributed or who has been contributing or supporting to the nation building. Okay, now see students, programs like On This Day in History are also the integral part of the daily programs of the Akashvani. This I have told you already. Now next, now see students, I have told you about the television also. Now television channels also telecast program based on history, that I have explained. Doordarshan and other television channels help in creating interest in history among people through their historical shows and serials. So on the news channels or on the TV channels, we can see the historical programs, historical shows, historical serials we can see on the Doordarshan or as well as on other channels also. See, some of the examples are given here. Mythological and historical serials like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bharat Ek Khoj and Raja Shiv Chhatrapati attracted a very large audience. So student, these are very famous programs on the TV channels that we have seen all. Okay, that is Ramayana, Mahabharata, both are very famous. Bharat Ek Khoj, this is also very important, that is named as a discovery of India by Nehru. Raja Shiv Chhatrapati, this is also very important. As well as with this, the Akbar the Great, Tipu Sultan, and all are the historical documentaries that can attract the attention of the audience. And through this we can understand the history, culture, the attire, the food, the social condition of that time also. While producing this type of programs, maintaining accuracy with regard to the presentation of environment, outfit, weaponry, lifestyles, lingual expression, etc. Okay, so we can understand about these things also, weaponry also. For example, if you have seen the Artural Ghazi's Turkey series, okay, then we can understand what kind of weaponaries were used at that time. As well as if you have seen the series on OTT, that is Ottoman Empire, so how they invented new weapons, okay, cannons, so that also we can understand if we watch such kind of series. And needs to have a deep understanding of history of the concerned period. The person who is broadcasting such kind of programs, he should have the correct actual real knowledge of that situations, okay, and understanding of that period also. Okay, now next, student, this is the last paragraph. So before moving forward, again I would like to tell you, if you are new on my channel, do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will get current notification of new videos. With this information, let's move again towards our topic. Currently, channels like Discovery, National Geographic, History, etc. have opened a rich treasure of global history for the audience. So all these channels are very important, very famous, very interesting. We can watch it and get the information of all the real information, the actual information we can get through these channels. Okay, students, so Discovery, National Geography, History, both are very important and interesting. So we can get new knowledge about history, knowledge about new things, knowledge about the inventions and all. It has enabled people to view the historical and geographic wonders at home only. By sitting at home, we can understand the geographical condition, the historical conditions of the world. To make such programs more entertaining, some parts of the serial are actually enacted by actors such as the characters of historic men and women, sportsman, army chief, etc. So to make that programs very interesting, actually the characters are playing that role and the programs are broadcasting and publishing. Okay, student, yeah, for example, one of the very interesting series on OTT, that is Mose. Okay, so this series tells us the life of that Moses, how he made the people free. That also we can understand. Okay, so now see, beside these serials about ancient monuments, forts, histories of empires, and also the history of culinary arts are watched by a large number of people. Now the last part, student, we are going to learn here. Yes, so here, with great interest, people with deep knowledge of history in the respective field are sought out in all fields of mentioned above. Okay, student, have you understood this much? Very good. Now here, student, one of the important information is given. Just I will read it out for you. Okay, I am not going to explain this. So just I will read it out for you. You would find this interesting. What is interesting? Let's see. Bharat khoj, a serial telecasted by Doordarshan, has a special place in history of Indian television serials. It was based on Discovery of India, a book written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. It was directed by Shyam Benegal. This serial represented the history of India from the ancient to the modern period, throwing light on the social, cultural and political history of respective periods. It effectively portrayed many aspects of Indian history like Harappan civilization, Vedic history, interpretation of Ramayana and Mahabharata, Mauryan period, Turk-Afghan and Mughal inventions, Mughal period and the contribution of Mughal emperors, Bhakti movement, role of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, movements of social reform and Indian struggle for independence, etc. Roshan said the actor who played Pandit Nehru's role in this serial also appeared as a narrator, introducing and explaining various parts of the story by dramatizing them using folklore and informative speeches. The serial was admired in all parts of India because of the comprehensive historical perspective of Pandit Nehru and its equally comprehensive visual presentation. Okay, student, have understood this much? Very good. So student, here we have completed the 5th lesson of history, that is mass media and history. Okay, students, dear students, if you have liked this video, if you have found this video useful to you, then do not forget to like it and share it to your friends. And if you are new on my channel, so do not forget to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you will get current notification of each and every new video. Thank you. Be studious, be thoughtful, be connected. Thank you.